Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Philadelphia Magazine's virtual Secrets from the C-Suite presented by Comcast Business. My name is Fabiola Cineas, and I'm a senior editor here at Philly Mag. This is the third part of our three-part series. It's been really powerful getting to connect with local leaders across the Philadelphia region, especially as Pennsylvania gets ready to open up counties all across the state. But while Philly is supposed to enter the yellow reopening phase by June 5th, there's still some big looming questions about how we even begin to regain a sense of normalcy, especially as people are still suffering under the pandemic. So if you're back again for a third week of Secrets from the C-Suite, thank you so much for joining us again. And if this is your first time, thank you for being here. Our very special guests today, as you all know, are the co-founders and co-CEOs of goPuff, Yakir Gola and Rafael Ilishayev. There they are. Awesome.
Hey.
So here's a little bit more about the two of them and goPuff. Rafael and Yakir co-founded goPuff as sophomores at Drexel University in 2013 to make it easier for customers to access life's essentials when they need them most. goPuff delivers everyday essentials from cleaning supplies, home needs, and over-the-counter medications to food and drinks in just minutes. The company's business model was specifically designed to add value to customers' lives through convenience. With its own centrally located facilities in every local market it serves, the company delivers thousands of products quickly for a flat $1.95 delivery charge. Whether customers need sugar and cooking oil, or a weeknight dinner, baby wipes and diapers, even at 3 o'clock in the morning, or an afternoon snack at the office, last-minute party supplies, or cold medicine at any hour, goPuff is delivering. So since goPuff has its own operations employees in each of its 200 plus facilities across the country, the company is able to control the entire customer experience from app to door. The business model also enables goPuff to offer speedy deliveries, as we previously said. So I'm going to talk to Rafael and Yakir for about a half an hour about how they've been seizing opportunities during the pandemic, but also balancing that with doing good, right? How are they taking care of their workers right now? How are they taking care of the community right now? And then after we talk for about a half hour, we'll have time for questions from all of you. So during this discussion, we encourage you all to pop some questions into the navigation bar. And around 2 o'clock, I'll be able to take a look and ask Yakir and Rafael some of those questions. And some of you have also submitted a bunch of awesome questions beforehand, so we're really excited for that. And then we'll wrap up at 2:15. So before I bring Yakir and Rafael back on, here's a message from our sponsor, Comcast Business.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Mike Loudon, Vice President of Comcast Business here in the Philadelphia region. First and foremost, I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy during these challenging times. Comcast Business is proud to partner with Philadelphia Magazine to present the Secrets from the C-Suite virtual series. Throughout this series, we'll have conversations with some of the most influential business leaders in the region, and today's event is no exception. We hope the virtual discussion will be a welcome distraction from our current situation. Most importantly, I hope that this series provides key insights and serves as inspiration to those business leaders and aspiring entrepreneurs here today. As a business community, we're all facing challenges with COVID-19. Whether you are a small business having to temporarily close your doors, or a large enterprise now dealing with a remote workforce, we have all had to adapt to this new normal. Comcast Business is no exception. We have quickly adapted to how we support our employees, our customers, and how we interact with our business partners. What has become more apparent than ever is that connectivity is critical to a business's success. At Comcast Business, we're helping businesses, both large and small, stay connected to the internet, data centers, customers, suppliers, their remote workforce. So when connectivity matters, Comcast Business is here. So if you're having challenges or want to take a look at your network, please don't hesitate to reach out to Comcast Business. We'd be happy to help. So once again, thank you for joining us to get in on Secrets from the C-Suite, and we hope to see you all in person very soon. Thank you, stay safe, and enjoy.
Can't hear.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Thank you so much to Comcast for sponsoring this event, and I'd love to bring Yakir and Rafael to the screen, please. There they are. Hi.
How's it going? Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We're so honored to have you with us today. So I'd love to start off by giving our viewers a sense of how goPuff has evolved over the past 7 years, right? 2013, I can't believe it's been that long. I feel like we've been writing about goPuff for some time, but I think there have been some major shifts. So just walk us through what the company does today, what the company's image is today, and how that differs from what you guys were doing back in the early days.
Fabiola, thank you so much for having us, and thanks to all the viewers that are viewing from home as well. You know, it's no secret, Yakir and I started this business when we were in college. We were college students servicing other college students, and it started as a snack and drink app, and it serviced a very important need at the time, right? This is now 7 years ago. You're right, it is hard to believe it's been that long, but we've evolved pretty tremendously in the last couple of years. We went from just a snack and drink delivery app to so much more. We established this new instant needs category that really encompassed many, many more moments within the delivery space. And from our perspective, we're now delivering baby products and pet food, and over-the-counter medication, home essentials, all to people's doors all over the country. So this Philly success story that started here in Philadelphia and is still headquartered in Philadelphia is now all over the country, servicing a wide array of customers. The college demo is still very, very important to us, but it's an increasingly smaller part of our business. Our fastest growing demo is the 30 to 44 age group. Over 50% of our new customers are coming within that age group, and they're predominantly urban city dwellers.
Wow. So yeah, and I think that's fascinating because every time I look at the website, if I go to gopuff.com and I scroll to the bottom, that list of cities is scary long, right? There's cities on there that I'm just like, I didn't know that this was a place that goPuff would want to expand to. So that's really impressive. So let's talk about then this idea of essential, right? I feel like the pandemic has kind of forced us to look at our businesses in a new way, right? And that's non-essential versus essential. And they've done the same thing with workers, right? Essential workers versus non-essential workers. At the start of this, right, back in February, did you immediately see goPuff as essential? Was there a concern that maybe goPuff would have to shut down or cease operations to an extent because, right, maybe people had the perception that goPuff was only selling candy and whatever other things that aren't very important?
Yeah, Fabiola, again, thanks for having us, and that's a great question. Rafa and I lead this company with putting our customers first. And that's the mentality we have throughout the entire company. Before COVID, believe goPuff was very much an essential business. I think, given the pandemic and these unprecedented times, goPuff has become a lot more essential. When we started to hear the news and we started to see some of the reports related to, COVID-19, Rafa and I immediately got to work. 24/7, we got our teams, and we really wanted to make sure that we're there for the community, and it really is a testament to our entire team, to our field employees, to our home office employees. And we realized that we've been able to, execute extremely well and become an essential business during this time and be there for the community, especially, the vulnerable population where, it is dangerous and they were, many of the reports were saying it is very unsafe for the elderly to go out of their homes and go to the grocery stores. And so we believe that goPuff become essential more than ever. And, even before this pandemic, we were selling many household essentials, and our assortment has grown a lot in the last few years, and goPuff has really become the go-to solution for immediate everyday needs. And now I believe we're essential more than ever before.
So I think you're talking about, right, like older people, folks who can't leave their home. How did you recognize these opportunities? And can you specifically walk us through how you said, wow, this is something we need to expand on. Let's do more of that. So for example, take cleaning supplies, right? Especially when there was a shortage of them, right? Like people go on Amazon searching for cleaning supplies, they're sold out everywhere. How did you kind of recognize that need and say, this is where we're going to put our efforts towards? Like what communications did you have with your suppliers and how did those changes take effect?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our entire supply chain team has done an incredible job. We have amazing relationships with all of our suppliers, and they've really stepped up to the plate and partnered really well with us. And so we appreciate all of those partnerships. I think it really starts with what I mentioned before, is putting the customer first. We listened to our customers. We saw what was important to them. We looked at, what's trending, whether we've clearly noticed, people cooking at home more. And so we took upon, those trends and we introduced new SKUs and new products based on what customers are asking for. And given our business model, we're vertically integrated. We control the entire customer experience. So at a moment's notice, if a customer requests products, we're able to be there for our customers and really introduce those SKUs to be able to offer that up to the entire communities at large.
Yeah, I'd like to just echo what Yakir said. Our product engineering and merchandising team came together to make a frictionless experience in-app as well. So it wasn't just creating an assortment that was important to our customer, but creating an experience, we called it the Stay Healthy experience, where it was a curated assortment in-app. It's still there, where it presented and highlighted the products that are most important to our customer. So a combination of the relationships that we had with our suppliers, along with an already increased focus in these new categories, kind of led to a very favorable outcome.
And so how did you guys kind of market that? Like, your social media is on point, I'd say, right? When I see that blue color, I'm like, okay, this is definitely goPuff. So how did you communicate, right? If people aren't going onto your website, how did you communicate to people, especially at a time when everyone's indoors, right? I feel like a big part of your marketing strategies was wrapping buses, with just colorful goPuff. How did you communicate to people that, hey, we're open and we're here to serve you during this time?
Yeah, sometimes the simple solutions are the best solutions, right? Like a simple push notification and a text message to our customer, kind of let them know that these are the products that we're handling. Also, like constant communication with our customers on in stocks and out of stocks was really, really important. So like if we knew customers had a high affinity for a certain category of goods or a very specific SKU, like hand sanitizer in early March, we really made sure we over communicated when we received those goods and made sure that customers knew that it was on the platform.
Great. So I'm curious about you guys, right? Things got your say just before this call. I asked you about your schedule and you're just like, it's crazy nonstop. So how did you personally adapt to the new speed of things, especially, and goPuff has been hiring at an increased pace. So what is that like for you in terms of managing this new influx of business?
Yeah, I'll speak for the both of us. Personally, very challenging, right? Also professionally, the growth that the business has seen in the last few months are, tremendous, right? And, I think that it really is a testament to our team, and I really want to reiterate that is our team, our driver partners who really, they're the real heroes and they're the reasons why we're here today and why we've, achieved this level of success. And they've all really stepped up and they are frontline, workers, and they're there for the community. And I think they deserve all the credit, quite honestly. And it has been a challenging time, but really proud of how our team has been able to, really scale this demand because we've seen growth for the last few years, even before coronavirus. However, as you notice, we are essential business and we had to be there for a community, and our team has really stepped up to the plate. We're really proud of them.
Yeah, and we felt like we needed to give back to the community as well, right? We felt like, as we're doing great, other people are not. So we had to make sure that we're in a place that we can give back to the local community and the national platform as well. So we first launched our healthcare initiative, which was $1 million worth of orders to frontline workers and hospitals all over the country. Locally here in Philadelphia, both Jefferson and Penn were partners. We partnered with Rock Nation and donated 200,000 meals. We gave $1 million to the Greater Philadelphia Boys and Girls Club. So we felt that it was really, really important to not just, be successful for our customers, but, be the shining light in the community as well.
That sounds great. So I took some notes here because you guys really did a good job also laying out goPuff's COVID response plan on your website. So there were some key parts of it, right? So You had a focus on workers, just how you were protecting them at the time, a focus on cleanliness. Non-contact delivery was a new thing for you all, and going cashless, and also like a shift in terms of hours. So I want to talk about workers, first of all, because I feel like that's a huge facet of the pandemic in general. And so for your field workers and your drivers, I saw on your website that you give paid leave for up to 14 days for workers, and they're removed from their work schedule. So can you talk about the process behind coming up with that kind of paid leave plan, and how does it compare to some of your competitors, and why was something like that important for you to create, and do you feel like where it stands now, do you feel like it's enough?
Yep. First, Fabiola, I think that's a great question. And I think it's a question that's really important to Yakir and I first, and our company at large. To answer the question, we got to take ourselves back to February when the whole thing was unwinding. And, it's a pandemic of enormous proportions. And I don't think anyone was truly prepared for it on a global level. That being said, when we saw things kind of unwinding and creating, we decided that we needed to act quickly and act decisively, not just for the North Star of our decision making, which is our customer, but for the safety of all of our employees and our driver partners. So the first thing that we did was create non-contact delivery to kind of maximize the social distancing efforts between our drivers and our customers. We then provided PPE for all of our employees. So every single driver partner and employee had masks and gloves and disinfecting wipes and sanitizer at a time where it was very, very difficult to source those products. We conducted regular temperature checks in every single one of our facilities. We cleaned the entire facility every 4 hours, and we continue to do so. We have safe social distancing in each one of our facilities. And obviously, last but definitely not least, was the financial assistance package. That was really important for us. Yakir just mentioned it. These guys and gals that are delivering for us are the backbone of this organization, right? I think people forget that Yakir and I were the first drivers, right? And we started this business by driving for a good portion of 2 years. So we understand the ins and outs of kind of being a delivery driver and working in a warehouse. So we felt that, it's not even important what the competition is doing. It's important what we're doing, and it's important how we're treating, our workforce.
So what was difficult for you about putting together that COVID response plan? Like, I'm just wondering what kind of hurdles you ran into, right? Because it can't be just smooth sailing this whole time, right? People are facing some real challenges. So what were some of those challenges that you guys faced?
Yeah, far from smooth sailing. You're absolutely right. We had a number of challenges, both on the process side, operation side, technology side. We needed to act quickly and decisively on this. And, again, it's a testament to the COVID strike team and our organization at large for really coming together and saying, how do we work together, not as an engineering team, a product team, as an operation team, but as a single organism for our customer. And, to their credit, everyone really came together and solved each one of these problems one by one, right? Because it wasn't one big paintbrush stroke that solved all these problems. It was a number of things that we implemented and frankly are continuing to implement more to provide the most safe environment that we can provide for everyone involved.
All right, cool. So I think a lot of people are just really eager and anxious to know more about you guys' expansion plans, right? So I think for all of us in the tech startup space, right, especially in Philadelphia, when we heard about that $750 million investment from, right, SoftBank, that was huge, right? That's just mind blowing. So can you shed some light on just what expansion has looked like for you since that kind of investment? And just how do you continue to plan to expand, especially right as we're reopening? Are people going to need goPuff as much as they need it right now?
Yeah, appreciate the question. We've been expanding since really day one in this business. We've been expanding, before any fundraise was even in the business. First 2 years of our existence as a business, we had no institutional money. We had no money to begin with. We just operated our business, and that kind of comes down to like our entrepreneurial roots that our parents instilled in us. But ultimately, like, expansion is not just geographical expansion. Yes, we are opening up dozens and dozens of sites, but we're really focused on the local initiatives and the local efforts. In Philadelphia, when kind of everything shut down, we said, how do we partner with local folks to really make sure that they're recognized and utilized within the app. So we partnered with Bassett's Ice Cream and Federal Donuts in Chicago. We partnered with Stan's Donuts. We partnered with King of Pops in Atlanta. I mean, many others. And by the way, anyone that has a local business, please reach out to us, local@gopuff.com. We're introducing so many local businesses in all of our markets, and that's a big part of how we think about expansion, right? Expansion, yes, of course. The geographic expansion will always be front and center. We're going to continue to expand for our customers in Philadelphia and nationally, but we do want to make sure that we're expanding locally and within the community as well.
Great. So how many warehouses do you guys have now, would you say, or sites, I guess, as well?
Yeah, we have roughly 200 facilities servicing hundreds and hundreds of cities all over the country. Many of which are in the greater Philadelphia area. Again, this is our home. Our HQ is embedded here. Our roots are here. I'm a New York guy who made Philadelphia his home, and this is where we're making a huge portion of our investment, both on the home office side and on the facility side.
Excellent. So I hear that you guys are saying you're adding value for customers as you expand, but I also feel like, right, there are negative sides to expansion as well. So, for example, community relations around warehouses or environmental impact, right, of deliveries. Do you guys have plans for how to make community relations around certain sites and warehouses better? And also thinking about, right, packaging or the plastic bags that goPuff delivers in. Like, what are your plans around improving those kinds of efforts?
Yeah, I think it's really important, right? Like the roots of how Yakir and I run this business is centered around fiscal responsibility, right? Because we didn't have any money early on, we didn't have any investors. We built this business in a model that enabled vertical integration and practiced good fiscal responsibility. I think over the last years, it's been a marriage of fiscal and social responsibility. And we've developed a number of action plans to kind of address an enormity of issues that are both happening in the world today, not just at goPuff, but in the world today, and issues to come. So stay tuned. A lot of really great updates to come out of that. But it's something that Yakir and I are personally very involved in.
Yeah, and Rob and myself, hold ourselves and also our company to a high standard. When it comes to being, business leaders here in Philadelphia, we have to be there for the community, and that's why, we did do the partnership with the Boys and Girls Club for $1 million, which went, to communities across the country, but very specifically also Philadelphia. We did, give $1 million to hospitals and frontline healthcare employees, and really gonna give back. And so that's become a big part of our ethos, and we continue to hold ourselves to a higher and higher standard as our business grows.
Great. So where do you hope goPuff will be in the next 5 years, right? And how does the pandemic basically fit into where you see the company going in the next couple of years? Like, what's your vision, I guess, for goPuff and where it's going to be?
Yeah, it's a great question. And one of the things that we alluded to earlier is, the fact that the business has evolved a lot, and, given from where we started the business almost 7 years ago at this point as college, students, that was the initial demographic of our customers. And that's how we started the business. But, as Rob told you, the business has really transformed to, from 100 products to now 3,000 unique products, to our fastest growing categories being our light grocery category, our baby category, and our pet category. And as I talked about, goPuff has become the go-to solution for immediate everyday needs. And so when you think about the continued evolution, of course, there will be major geographic expansion, but in addition to that, we're relentlessly focused on the customer experience and building more technology to make the customer experience better, but also improve the efficiency of the business model. And because we're vertically integrated and we can control the entire customer experience, that lends itself to massive differentiation in the market. And when we think about what the business looks like in the future, it's going to continue to evolve. And Raf and I are really ambitious, and we continue to get really, really excited. We continue to build an amazing team and surround ourselves with amazing people with amazing experience from world-class companies. And as we think about, the growth, we're just getting started. We have a long way to go and we have a lot more to build, but it really is an exciting time for the business.
Great. So I have one more question before we open it up to questions from the audience. Just what kind of advantage do you guys feel you've gained from being based in Philadelphia, and especially during this pandemic? Do you feel like this region has given you any kind of boost or benefit during this time?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. In early 2014, right after we started this business, Yakir and I started talking about Philadelphia being our first investor. And if we look at starting this business elsewhere, I don't believe in my heart of hearts that we'd be successful or as successful as we are today if we didn't start in Philadelphia, expand in Philadelphia, and then ultimately build our headquarters here in Philly as well. So I think the grit from the Philadelphia environment and the kind of the do whatever it takes, the find comfort and discomfort that's available in all kind of Philadelphia natives has really propelled us to a place where we are today and we're going to be in the future. We're really, really proud to say that Philadelphia made us who we are today, and we're really proud to be a Philly company headquartered in this beautiful city.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. All right, let's turn to a couple of questions from the audience. They're blowing up. Wow, we've got some good stuff. Okay, so I have a question from Kira. So Kira said, what's coming in tech over the next 2 to 45 years? Will those predictions change due to COVID-19? I'm assuming this is Kira Smalls from Philly Startup Leaders. Hi, Kira, if this is you. So I'm not sure if you meant 2 to 5 years, but yeah, what's coming next for tech and how has the pandemic impacted that?
Yeah. Hey, Kira, we actually had the pleasure to meet a few months ago at one of the Philly startup events. So thanks for asking the question. I think if you look at, previous recessions, Netflix actually was built during the recession. Uber was actually built during the last recession. And when you think about, the technology advancements during recessions, they're massive. And they have long-lasting impact. And, I think we're a huge believer that the change in behavior that you've seen over the last few months, given this pandemic, it's gonna be here to stay, and it's gonna be long-lasting. And I think what you've noticed with sort of the retail apocalypse, right? It's only accelerated further, and I think technology now is becoming more and more relevant than ever before. So I think what you're gonna see in the next few years and few decades, of course, especially here in Philadelphia, and we're proud to contribute to the technology community. It's only gonna see a major acceleration over the next 5 to 10 years.
Great. All right, we have a question from Nicolette. She says, goPuff's recent COVID-19 white paper mentioned a spike in orders from older consumers. How does goPuff plan to grow in reaching this segment and expanding into new ones? So you guys addressed this a little bit in the beginning, but yeah, I'd love to hear more about the targeting of older communities and older folks.
Yep. Nicolette, thank you so much for the question. I'll go back a year to before coronavirus, where myself, Yakir, and our leadership team went to Arizona and spent some time with a few of our top customers in Arizona. Our top customer in Arizona happened to be a retired professor from Arizona State who was 70 years old and used goPuff nearly every single day. And those kind of customer testimonials in person is what motivates us even more to realize that, hey, people are relying on us. People are relying on us each and every day to kind of handle their basic needs. And that was a real eye-opener for Yakir and I to really keep pressing on the accelerator, both on the technology side and on the merchandising side, to get the products and the moments that matter most to our customers. So kind of a little bit before the pandemic hit, the pandemic was just a big accelerant. So all of a sudden, people that were not so digitally native quickly became digitally native, and we saw a huge surge in an older demographic ordering from our platform.
Great. All right, a question from Tom. Tom wants to know, did you take the city's $100,000 business tax exemption in your early years? And if so, how much did it help?
No, we actually have not taken that, earlier on, but
We probably should have.
we should have, looking back, but, I would say though that Philly has been an amazing partner to us. And as Ralph said, Philly has been our first investor. And had we not start here, we'd not reach the levels of success that we have. So, we're definitely thankful to be, very close with the Philly community, and we're thankful to be here in Philly.
Great. So Nina, she wants to know what items are in the biggest demand on goPuff since the stay-at-home orders started in Philadelphia, and what items dropped. I'm curious about consumer trends during this time. Thanks.
Great, Nina, great question. It's one that I personally have been very involved in over the last few months. So the number one growing category has been our grocery category. So we don't carry fruits and vegetables, but everything else that you need for cooking and baking is a category that we really expanded and penetrated into. It is a very fast growing category at goPuff. I think some of the, we've seen growth across all of our categories, frankly. There's been ones that have been growing slower than others, like snacks is one of our largest categories, but one of the slowest growing categories. The newer categories, baby, pet, and grocery that Yakir mentioned are the fastest growing categories, grocery, all the way up in top place.
Cool. All right, so Tara says, we know that overuse of plastic has negative consequences ahead. Looking ahead, does your strategic plan aim to create more sustainable means of delivery that prevent excess waste? If so, how do you plan to do that? Which is similar to, what I asked a little while ago.
Yep, that is a great question. Here's what I can tell you. We are diligently working. We have action plans in place today to diligently address a number of social and sustainable issues. It's not, one screw fits all situation where it's one thing that's going to fix or address the issue. I treat it with you here the same way that we treat other business problems. It's continuous improvement, and this is not a forever perfect solution. So a lot of things in the horizon, a lot of things that have already been done, but a lot more on the horizon that we're working on today to kind of address a number of sustainability and social issues.
Great. A lot of people have questions about the goPuff name, so I'll read a couple of those. So Sandy says, do you still get nod and wink jokes about the company name? And then I saw another one. Tyler, how did you come up with the name goPuff?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we started the business in college. And Ralph and I sat with a few friends and we were talking about, what's the best name for this business? That name got brought up. What we've noticed is we focus on our customers, right? And when we started the business, we had snacks, right? Now, and snacks and drinks, and basically now today we have 3,000 items. The business has really transformed to being this go-to solution, but our customers love our name, right? And as we think about our business and our philosophies, is putting the customer first. They're very passionate about the name, and we're very passionate about the name. And so, that's what I could tell you about the goPuff name and how the business has really evolved.
Cool. All right. Michelle, has Amazon approached you to buy?
Yeah, I mean, Ralph and I started this business with a really long-term mentality. And as we've grown the business, we're getting hungrier and hungrier and more ambitious about really, disrupting many industries and getting into a lot of new segments of business. And as I mentioned before, we're just getting started in our journey. 7 years is a long time, but it's really not a long time for a business. And so as we think about the next few decades, that's the kind of long-term mentality we're talking about. And we're building this business to last, not only from a customer perspective, but from a fiscal responsibility perspective. And that's been a big part of our ethos and the culture that we've developed, because we didn't start the business with money, right? We built the business from the ground up, and we nailed the business model and then scaled it, which means that you have options and you control, the entire customer experience. So that's what I can tell you about the long term and really how we're thinking about this business.
Yeah, I'd like to just echo what Yakir said. You have a once in a lifetime chance to build a truly generational business. And this is mine, Yakir's chance. And we're so blessed to have so many great people around us, so many good coaches that have really elevated us. And, goPuff that's what it is for us, and it is for so many millions of customers all over the country. So we're really, really excited about this business. We're really excited about the future growth that it entails.
Great. All right, a question from Haley that just came in. I see your company has a ton of jobs posted right now during the pandemic. Do you feel like you guys are in need of hiring more people right now, and in what departments?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. Fabiola, honestly, all over. We are literally hiring in every department, in the field, in HQ, in engineering and product management, merchandising, all over the place. We're hiring people to kind of meet this consumer demand. We're very selective on the folks that we bring on board. We want to make sure that it's the right fit. But ultimately, a lot of job openings, all at gopuff.com/hiring. Please head over. And, we're really excited for all the people that we're bringing on board in Philadelphia and honestly all over the country.
Cool. And related to that, how does goPuff go about choosing what sites to open where? How does that decision get made?
Yeah, I'm not going to bore you with all the details on the model that's built. It's called GMOT, it's the goPuff Market Optimization Tool, and it's a proprietary software that we developed in conjunction with many other tools that essentially gives a score on a quarter-mile hexagon of a certain geo, and it seems population numbers, registrations. A metric we call intent to purchase, so folks that try to order goPuff but then can't order goPuff. Essentially, the long and the short of it is we go where the customer is, right? Where the customer is demanding us, that's where we'll go. And sometimes that means an expansion of our existing delivery zone. Sometimes it means a totally new geo, just like we did with our Miami launch a month ago. So ultimately expanding as the customer is demanding us to expand.
Great. All right, a question from Derek. As hot food delivery has become the norm in households around the country, and COVID has only grown that, how do you feel goPuff can compete in the food service space?
Yeah, that's a great question. As we talked about earlier, goPuff has launched many new categories and really, been dominant player in a lot of big categories. But as we think about the continued evolution, we're evaluating all segments of industries, right? When you look at, convenience stores, food service is a big part of that. goPuff doesn't today deliver, food service or hot foods. But it's something that we will be testing, and it's something that we will consider as we continue to expand our business geographically, but also into many new categories.
Yeah, just like to remind people, our model allows us to get into any segment of product that the consumer is demanding. So, we started with food and drink, and all of a sudden we're in the alcohol space, and we're in the baby space, and we're in the pet space, household cleaners, and over-the-counter medication. This is just the start. Right? As we think about this instant needs category, the word of needs kind of transponds well beyond the things that we're offering. So a lot of good expansions to come in the months and years ahead.
Cool. All right, Chandra has an interesting question. She says, now that cocktails to go are legal in Pennsylvania, are spirits something that goPuff will be getting into? And I know, right, goPuff is also there's a Go Bear is also a thing already. So yeah, what's your response to that?
So we deliver beer, wine, and spirits in many jurisdictions all over the country. In Pennsylvania, we don't like to make it very easy. So beer is the only option for us right now. We're evaluating. I'm aware of the rule about takeout cocktails. We're evaluating that plus a number of other initiatives around alcohol delivery in the state.
Great. All right, just sifting through some of these questions. So another one that Nicolette had also asked, with the return of students to college campuses unknown, how does goPuff anticipate this will impact their business, or does the enterprise anticipate the lift from COVID-19 deliveries will offset this hurdle?
Yep. It's a great question. Nicolette is on fire with the questions today. We've been growing triple digits year over year our whole existence. We've never dropped below triple digits. What I can tell you right now, without any college active in the U.S., we're growing faster than we've ever grown before by a pretty big multiple. So whether college students in colleges resume or not, the business has divested from college for the last couple of years, right? Early 2016, we said we want to open up more urban environments. We want to open up in more cities. And for the past 4 years, we've really been pushing our expansions and our assortment to match that. And I think, the fruits of the labor is when the pandemic hit and the consumer behavior started to change. We saw that change happening predominantly in the cities. And as a result, kind of the year over year growth kind of accelerated along with it.
Great. All right, so Sandy, so I'm curious now, you're in all Midwestern college towns, save Lawrence and Kansas and Columbia. What kept those two off your metrics? So people want to know some specific, I think people need some expansion in specific places.
Yeah, I gotta talk to our head of real estate for that one. What I can tell you is just because a city is not open, it doesn't mean that it's not being worked on right now. We work on hundreds of projects simultaneously all over the country. So, the same question was asked for us a couple of months ago about Miami, and we had, near a dozen projects being worked on Miami at the same time. We just didn't comment on it. I think, not talking about those two specific sites specifically, but more likely than not, we've already looked at them and they're in the works.
Gotcha. All right. So Jack has a specific question following up on what you were saying about liquor delivery. So the state closed liquor stores for a couple of months and tried delivery on their own. Did they ever reach out to use your existing infrastructure for online orders and delivery? The state's response seemed very disorganized, considering they had a local private company that would have solved their logistics problems. Is that something that could have been possible in your eyes?
Yeah, we have constant conversations with government officials all over the country to solve a number of issues. And a number of those issues have been discussed during the pandemic and even before the pandemic. Yeah. So I can tell you, we're working with government officials all over the country, including Pennsylvania, to solve a number of problems. It's often not as simple as, hey, we're going to turn on and deliver. We're ultimately here to help. And we want to make sure that we're a help to the community. If it makes sense for the state for a partnership, we're here. If it doesn't, then that's also fine. We just want to be a helping hand all around.
Great. All right. So to wrap us up, I just have one final question. Do you just have a message for hope for everyone, whether they're someone who's a customer, someone who's not a customer, a business owner, a healthcare worker? Just what have you learned from navigating this pandemic yourself, and trying to balance, making a profit, expanding, but also doing good? So just, can you wrap us up with just some kind of learning or hope that you have learned?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, be positive is something that Raf and I kept top of mind throughout all this. This is a really tough time, not only in Philadelphia, but in the world. These are unprecedented times, and I think it really is important to stay positive, foster relationships, reach out to your loved ones, stay connected, and things are getting better. And so, that's what we tell our teams. That's what we tell our families, and we're going to get through this together. And it really is amazing to see how the community has come together here in Philadelphia throughout, this pandemic. And it really is a testament to how people have come together. And I think that's the advice that we can give, is to stay positive. We're going to get through this together and move past this.
Awesome. Well, this has been incredible. Yakir and Rafael, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Fabiola, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us for the third part of Virtual Secrets from the C-Suite, presented by Comcast Business. While that does wrap up this 3-part series, we did just announce yesterday that we'll be having ThinkFest 2020, so a special ThinkFest. We're doing it virtually. The week of June 8th through June 12th, we'll be having 2 sessions a day with just some of our city's top leaders, including Mayor Kenny, our police commissioner, U.S. Senator Bob Casey. So we'd love for you to join us. That event is also free, and you can find out more details at phillymag.com/thinkfest. Thank you all for joining us. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.